Hello there, I'm Scotty. That's my armpit. You're not. Welcome back to Juniversal month. Remember that was my arm. I was trying to make it crack. Anyway, I forgot to do that. There we go. You forget it's there, and then you. And chicken cherry cola. So, today we jumped from 2002. The last one was 2003. I forgot. Yes, we did 2003. We did Johnny English. I have no comments. As the person who wanted me to review the movies. Right there. So now we do the rundown, starring Rock the Dwayne Johnson, or just as he was known back then, The Rock. Yes, and I actually watched this, not when it came out, but I remember I rented the DVD from, this was around the time I got my first DVD player. It was a DVD and VHS combo, because they still had VHS back then. And I had a new TV, it was like a 40-something inch TV in my room. I was so happy, and I got grounded right away. But after about a week, I get, in my defense, it wasn't my fault. Which is what you say, but I really don't remember what it was I got grounded for, but I swear it wasn't my fault. Anyway, so I rented this from Cashwise, which was a grocery store. I don't know if anyone else had Cashwises anywhere, but we had one here. It had a different name. It was like Super Fair back in the early 90s, and it became Cashwise. My whole family worked there. My mom, my grandma, my grandpa. I applied to be a bag boy. I did not get a job. But, yeah, and so I rented this, and I always thought this was a good, it's one that not a lot of people talk about. It's one of those underrated action buddy type of movies, and it stars The Rock. It is what I would believe is his first big role outside of the Mummy franchise as the Scorpion King, or the horrible CGI Scorpion King from The Mummy Returns, or the Scorpion King movie, which came out a year before this. This is his first big role after leaving the WWE. And even Vince McMahon himself is credited as an executive producer of this movie. Take that for what it will. But, and it stars him in his first leading role as an action star, really, under the incredible name of Beck. Just Beck. That's literally what he's just credited for. Beck. They call him Mr. Beck, which just makes me think of like a Bond building, like a Bond movie. Hello, Mr. Beck. Like he's James Bond. Hello, Mr. Bond. Hello, Mr. Beck. Someone calls him that. I don't know. And he's an aspiring chef. Because like this starts with like radio garble. You know radio garble is when he going through the radio. You go to the radio stations. Does that. And he's listening to someone talk about a recipe, which I didn't know they did that on the radio, but I guess they do. And porcini mushrooms. Porcini. I'm sorry, that's what it sounds like the Jawas are saying. Porcini. That's what it sounds like. So his job, he's a bounty hunter, debt collector. I always thought bounty hunter. Debt collector working for a loan shark. See, it's a good thing I pulled this up. Billy Walker is the bookie he's working for. So he's sent to a nightclub to retrieve a championship ring as collateral from a football player named Brian Nat Miller. Doesn't say here. Is it Brian? It just says Nat Miller. Okie dokie. Nat Miller. And as he walks in, we get a cameo from Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm not kidding. I guess this was a passing of the torch moment. He just goes, "Good luck," and walks by. It's just because he's going to be the governor now. And so then I guess he's passing it on to The Rock. So after a fight in this nightclub, which of course includes a rock bottom. By God! He gets the ring, only to then be attacked with beanbags. And I kid you not, it's like a some sort of gun that shoots beanbags. He takes a couple, boom, boom, and then some dude takes the ring back to Billy. But it's like, because they make it known, because after he couldn't get him to cooperate, and the whole offensive line of the college football team that Miller is on is there, he calls Billy, he's like, yeah, I can't do this. And the one thing to listen to in this conversation is, it's not because he doesn't, like, it's not because he's afraid because the whole offensive line is there and he's afraid he's going to get his ass kicked. No, he's afraid he's going to kick all of their asses and cost them their football season. You listen to the dialogue, he's like, I really think they could make the championship this season. I don't want to ruin that. So, because of this conversation, Billy thinks he has lost confidence in this, and somehow, in that short of time that it takes for him to kick all their asses, someone has made it down there to take the ring. So now, Billy gives him his next job, which will be his final job, because he wants the money, and he wants to retire. He wants to start a restaurant. The Rock owning a restaurant. Can you see that? Literally, he could ask, hey, can you smell what I'm cooking back here?
Hey, didn't Hulk Hogan own a restaurant?
Pastamania, brother. Anyway, so Hulk Hogan, Mark Wahlberg, everyone's got a restaurant. You gotta come down to Wahlburgers. There's some real good burgers down here. We got onions, tomatoes, ketchup, whatever you need. Put some double cheese on there. Do you sell chicken? What? No. Anyway, so now his final task is to go to Brazil to get Billy's son, Travis. I do want to point out there is no reason for why he has to do this, because by the end of this, he never really gives a reason why. He just wants him, and then he says he's going to send to Chicago at the end, but there's no real reason. I thought that perhaps Billy also wanted the gato, but no. So, yeah, if he does this, he'll be given, what was it, $250 million or $250,000? One of those. $250 million? I don't know. Enough to open his own restaurant. So he accepts, and he goes to Brazil, where we meet this Scottish plane driver that you cannot understand unless you have subtitles on. And for the first time in this movie, I watched it on Peacock on my phone during work. Like, that. You did not fall. During work, like when I'm, you know what I mean. In between when I'm on break or in the van, like that, because I realized it was on Peacock. Then I came home and I just put the DVD on, or the Blu-ray on, to where I was at, because I didn't want to sit through no ads. By the way, this pissed me off. So I went to play it, right? And the way I usually do this is I'll go to watch it after it's now the first site. It was the second site that we have, and I'll watch it as we're going to the next site. But when you start a movie on Peacock, for some reason, it gives you like 2 minutes of ads that seem to take longer than 2 minutes. You ever watch an ad and say, this ad's only 30 seconds, but it feels like 130 seconds, especially when it's one of those medical ads where they just keep listing all these stupid things. If you take this, don't you this, and this. I'm just like. So by the time all the freaking ads were done and the movie started, we already at the site. So I barely got 5 minutes into the movie. And then this almost pissed me off because I thought they were going to make me watch ads again when I went to press play after we were done with that site. And I pressed play, and it started playing ads, and I'm like, no, this is bullshit. So I went out and went back in. I don't know, for some reason it was restarting the movie. And then it just went to where I was at. And it looked like, actually, it wasn't going to give me another ad break till the middle of the movie, which is nice. But I didn't even want another ad. I didn't want the first ad break, so that's why I watched it on the Blu-ray when I got home. Anyway, so he gets there with this Scottish man that you can't understand what he's talking. Oh, God, bro. You know, Robin Williams was really right when he says about the Scottish people. That you get a game. Go, Dad, go get it. You can't understand anything he's saying.
If I remember right, the correct quote Robin Williams said in that comedy was like, if you want a logistic adventure, go drinking with a Scotsman because you can't fucking understand him from before.
Yeah. I've actually seen a version that he's done on like an interview on a talk show where because he's on a talk show he can't swear, so he just sort of 18 damn times instead of the F-bomb. But anyway, he gets there and apparently there's a guy that owns everything. You have to go through him first. His name is Hatcher, and he's played by Christopher Walken, doing his best Bond villain. Though he was a Bond villain in View to a Kill. But anyway, yeah, this basically feels like a Bond movie without Bond. Because he's there and he's like, what's the quote that Beck says? He's like, when you go to another man's home, you ask before you go into his refrigerator. Even he's like, refrigerator? Is that a refrigerator, Mr. Beck? And I'm like, yeah, can't you just say before you use anything in his house or something? I don't know. So he's there to collect. He's just there for Travis, and he's gonna leave. And so he says, "You gotta pay me what $10,000 to do that." So he does that, and there was a scene where we see Travis before this, where he's talking to Mariana, who is Rosario Dawson. I didn't have to look. Rosario Dawson doing an accent because she can do accents. I guess. Travis is after this lost golden artifact known as the O Gato del Diablo. I thought it was El Gato. El Gato del Diablo, the devil's cat. Wouldn't it be El then if it's the devil's cat? I don't know. And so Hatcher seems to know about this. So once he gets back. By the way, Beck doesn't like guns. And they never specifically spell out why. He ends up using guns at the end. He has to by the point. But like, he's like, it's one of those action things where he uses it and then he goes, "That's why I don't like guns." And like, that's not an explanation. That's just an action line because you're trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, you want to be a family as a couple acres. You know, that sort of thing. I like the conversation he has with Rosario Dawson, where he's like, "Hey, back home, Brazil nuts like these would cost me a pretty penny or something like that." She goes, "Well, here we don't call them Brazil nuts." He's like, "What do you call them?" She's like, "This is Brazil. They're just nuts." He's talking about Travis, and Travis walks in. He's like, "Yeah, I'm looking for Travis Walker. He's got a real shitty." I don't remember what the thing was, but something like that. So and the Scottish dude, from what I could understand, was trying to warn Beck about rebels in the woods. That's one of the only lines you can understand from him at a certain point. In the jungle, not woods. There's a difference, vines and whatnot. The jungle. So after Hatcher shows up to collect Travis, they get into the vehicle and they drive, end up going into the jungle. They end up they go to the waterfall? Is that what it says? Excuse me. It just says, on the way back to the airfield, Travis forces the Jeep off the road. So he does it. And attempts to escape, but is recaptured by Beck. And there's some funny stuff in here that feels like it's just there to stretch out the runtime. Like Travis has to pee, so there's a whole back and forth between them. He's like, "Can you unzip me?" He's like, "What? No, hell no." He's like, "Come on, man." So he's like, "Fine, don't look at me. Look over there. Don't look at me." He unzips him. He's like, "I can't get it out." "No, hell no. You do your stuff." So you just have Travis standing there doing this. Oh, I got it. I go. Okay. And then he has to count to 3 before he pees. It's like, just go. It's like, And I apologize, I don't know what that looked like. But anyway, that's what he was doing. And then Beck gets snared by a trap, and as Travis is gloating about it, he gets unhandcuffed. He gets snared by a trap, then they go back and forth. Then there's baboons that show up. One of them humps Beck's face before the rebels show up. A little winded. I am fat. And the leader of the rebels here, well, at least at this point, is Ernie Reyes Jr. from Ninja Turtles 2 and Surf Ninjas. Remember, all you need to do to surf is wave your arms like this, according to that movie. Yeah. And so there's a fight scene between him and The Rock, because of course there is. And then other people get involved for some reason. It makes no sense. And this is all because Travis, and I'm confused, because they speak English, but Travis still has to translate to them in Portuguese. And it's all so he could make them believe that Beck is working for Hatcher, and they hate Hatcher because they're rebels. But it's even after that, once it's real that Mariana is the leader, Rosario Dawson is the leader of the group. He does speak English. They have a conversation about who's better, Mike Tyson or Ali, in which, the Rock Beck rightfully says Ali. Sorry, Mike Tyson, but you can't. No, you cannot beat Ali, baby. Float like butterflies, sting like bees. So they speak English, but they don't understand English. But there's also points in the conversation where it seems like he understands what Beck is saying while she's also translating. But I don't get it. It's confusing. So, yeah. Then Hatcher shows up again, which forces the Beck, Travis, and Mariana to escape. And so Beck makes a deal with Mariana and says, hey, you help me get Travis to the airfield in exchange for the gato. So, yeah. So Travis leads them where the gato is. They go to a waterfall, and he's like, come on, let's get in. He's like, no, we gotta, come on, we go. He goes, no, we're here. Like, that's where you gotta go. So they go in there, they find the gato, and then they retrieve it. And we had to have this scene. Oh, I forgot to mention when they're in the water, she's like, hey, don't piss if there's these little fish that will go up your wiener. Well, she says penis, but, yeah, no, don't want those fish. No, thank you. Legs closed. So, but I got a question though. If they can go in your pee-pee hole, can they also go up your butthole, which is bigger? Or no? Is it just, did it just swim in? Because it says when you pee. So it's like they just swim in the urine, or I really don't want to know, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, conversations we have over here. So after they get that, they, for some reason, don't just leave. No, they're in the jungle still, and they have another fire. And she, using this toxic fruit, which I can't remember what it's called, it knocks him out. Which, it reminded me of the Librarian movie, there's more to it. Because once they wake up, Beck's ready to take off, but then he finds out that Hatcher has her and the gato, so it reminds me of the Librarian, The Quest for the Spear, where they get the piece of the spear they're after, and he hooks up with Nicole, and then the next morning he wakes up, she and the piece of the spear are both gone. It's kind of like that, only he wasn't drugged, he just had sex. But here they're drugged by this fruit, Canalobo, or I don't know what it's called. But it's Travis. Like he gets back and tells Declan, "Hey, we gotta go." And Travis pleads to help her, and Beck realizes, "Hey, technically the deal's not done." So He goes back. He uses the cow stampede, which they showed at the beginning of this. They had to shoot the cows to land on the strip. They use the cow because he doesn't use guns, so he uses the. Technically, it's a bull stampede, but for cover. And Beck and Travis begin their assault on Hatcher's men, and they just kick ass, take names. That is until Beck has to then use. So Hatcher tells Harvey, who's played by John Grease, you may know Lost, or was it Fright Night Part 2? You've seen him in things. You're like, it's another one. Oh, that guy, type things. To take the gato and the girl and take off. Take the gato and the girl and go. But Travis gets trapped by gunfire on a bus. Beck saves him before it explodes. The Gus is going to explode. The Gus. It must be out your damn mind. Not Gus. The bus. Not Gus. Gus, don't be this crevice in my heart. No, the bus is going to explode, not the Gus. The bus. You know how my brain works. Not at all. So, Hatcher confronts Beck. Shouldn't be going. He offers him a chance to leave. He's like, because the whole thing with this, you get an option A, get an option B. Option A is you come with me, we leave peacefully. What's option B? The opposite of option A, which is basically I kick your ass and I take you anyway. And so that's the whole thing through all this is he does that. And so Hatcher refuses to take A, so he get B. At one point, Travis says option C, which just leads them to be in the jungle. So it's just an extension of option B. I think this makes it more complicated. Man. Hatcher is shot by the townspeople. They fight back. He agrees to leave, but dies from his wounds anyway. Here it doesn't say that Hatcher used that Travis or Beck uses the guns, but he does at some point. Travis looks like Travis leaves at one point. He grabs a gato and he's like, "Hey, see ya." But then he comes back and says, "Hey, I'm not a bad guy." And he gives the gato to Mariana, and he agrees to go with Beck. And he's like, "Hey, I want my cut. Any more than 51 point something million, anything less," I think is what he says. Yeah, and then we have no more problems of getting back to the U.S., though there is an issue we'll talk about. So they get to L.A., he delivers Travis to Billy, and then he smacks Billy, or Billy smacks him. He's like, he's like, "You're going to go back to Chicago." And he's like, "Hey, before I go," he's like, "Hey, you're going to get your money. All you need to do your restaurant." He's like, "Hey, before we go, when I was in Brazil, the Brazilians, they showed me a way to celebrate with this fruit. And it's the fruit that Mariana used." So he celebrates them and he starts letting Travis go. And he's like, "Is that what you're doing?" I do like how, because it's all distorted, he's like, "Hey, Dad." And it goes more distorted. So yeah, it was kind of funny. And then, so they go to leave. Travis does his little thunder and lightning thing that he did a few times. I do like when he first tries to do it, and he gets his ass kicked, goes back, tries it again. He's like, "Are you done beating me up, or can we go?" Because he's not really doing anything, but the Rock says that, by the way. And so here he's like, "Whoa. I'm just kidding, man. Let's go." Yeah, and they leave. Movie ends. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I have fun with it. I'll give it a pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. I think it's just as enjoyable as when I watched it the first time back in 2003, which is more I can say about Johnny English. But there's that for you. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the rundown? When it comes on, we should like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm this guy, and I'll see you in the next one.